Hello, hello, hello. I just went live a few minutes ago, but I felt compelled to come back and talk to a couple of parents. I want you to forgive yourself. Okay, forgive yourself. I was a parent. I was pregnant at 18, and many of you are probably going to watch this replay. So let me say hello. I'm Zakiya Monique, master relationship strategist, transformational speaker, best-selling author, Killer Connections. But let me, all that aside, I was a parent. I got pregnant when I was 18 years old, and I was a parent at 19. And my mother and I had a very tumultuous relationship because of some things that happened between us. And so I took it upon myself to try to be, different from what she was, right? And oftentimes when we run from a thing, sometimes we'll run right into it, right? If we don't deal with the trauma, the drama, and those types of things. And so a lot of times I stressed my daughter, you know what I'm saying, pushing her, right? And I had to learn to forgive myself for what I did not have, for what, I did not do, for what I could not provide. I also had to ask her for forgiveness. Oftentimes, that oldest child saw a lot, endured a lot, and they grew up with us, right? And so ultimately, when it comes to that baby child, we're not as hard on them sometimes. So some of us really need to, number one, forgive ourselves. Number two, we need to seek God for forgiveness for us not handling what He committed to our trust well. But we also need to go to our children and say, you know what, forgive me. Forgive me, because parenting didn't come with a manual, and maybe sometimes I could have done better. Maybe sometimes I didn't have to expose you to so much, but I did, and I apologize. But many of us will get stuck in the guilt. And as a result, we will have grown children that won't move on, won't move out, that will hold it over our heads forever. You weren't there for me like you was for the younger ones. And da 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 da. And because we have not forgiven ourselves, I'm telling you, guilt will cause you to keep on paying for something that, baby, you paid in full for. The God paid. Jesus paid it all. And we still paying for it. Why? Because we know we didn't do our best with them. Right now, we need to focus on giving our remaining children and our grandchildren and God the best version of ourselves, which means let us heal. Let us heal so that we stop bleeding on the people who didn't cut us. But forgive yourself if you didn't have it. And if you were in the midst of trauma, drama, and grief yourself, what were you going to give somebody else but trauma, drama, and grief? You can only give what's in your heart. So some of us just need to forgive ourselves and accept the fact that we did the best we could with what we had at the time. But now that we know better, we need to move forward and do better. Not just talk, but walk. And I just felt the need to come and say that because some of us beat ourselves up so terribly when the truth is we did the best we could with the hand that we were dealt. But we felt like it wasn't enough because we didn't dress our kids in name brands. We felt like it wasn't enough because we couldn't give our kids this or give our kids that. When the truth is, sometimes they just want you. They just want you to come lay in your bed and watch a movie with you. I know people who go buy their kids all the designer stuff, but ain't checked in on their mental, ain't checked in on their emotional, ain't checked in with them. But you buy them all the greatest stuff. But at the end of the day, emotionally, they broken. Mentally, they broken. Self-esteem is toe up. But they sugar sharp. They sugar sharp. But can't take nothing emotionally. One frog hair away from falling apart. They want us. Some time. Our interests. They want us. But they deserve the best version of us that we can be. And we can't be that best version if we still bathing in the guilt of what we wasn't or we didn't do or who we weren't and what we couldn't do back in the day or with our first child or when they were first born or whatever. Some of us need to forgive ourselves for the fathers that we gave them or the mothers that we gave them. We need to forgive ourselves for the choices that we made. Sometimes we need to apologize to them. I apologize for giving you the daddy that I gave you. Okay? But whatever the case is, ask God for forgiveness. Forgive yourself and move on to be the better version of yourself, because you not only owe it to God, but you also owe it to you to be the best version of you for you, and then for everybody else. So I just felt the need to pop back on and say that, because parenting is tough. It is one of the most rewarding things, but baby, it can be tough. But my grandmama used to say that when they get off your lap, they be on your heart. You're a parent for life. You just parent differently. And some of us need to learn how to shift, because we coddle these grown-ups like they still teens, but the reason why we do it is because we're guilty. Some of us need to forgive ourselves for our children being touched. We felt like we didn't protect them. But baby, if you was at work, what were you gonna do? You were at work. If you were working trying to feed them, you can't blame yourself unless you knew and then turned a blind eye. Forgive yourself. Let that heaviness go. And the way that you can rectify the situation is by healing and being the best version of you moving forward. Can't change what happened, but you can definitely change what happens going forward. All right. So I love y'all. I love y'all. Okay, for real this time. For real. Okay. But I really wanted to come back on and just say, look, just let it go. Shake it off. Let it go. Ask for forgiveness and change. They say the best apology is change behavior. That's the same thing with our children too. Same thing with our children. All right. So I love y'all so very much. Forgive yourself and move on to become a better parent and even better grandparent as you move forward. All right. I love y'all. Have a good night.